Hare Krishna, my humble obeisance to all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, yesterday we have completed Canto 6. So, we will start Canto 7. But before going to Canto 7, we will see the overview of whatever, or recap, you can say, recap of whatever, in a short summary of what we have seen so far in the 6 cantos. So, we will first start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha ओम ज्ञानतिमरन्दस्य जनाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपथकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मुगं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयति गिरिमत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानन्द श्रीद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So almost 50% of Bhagavatam we have actually completed. So it's by Krishna's mercy, Vaishnava's mercy, and all the devotees you are regularly attending. So because of that, it was possible. So now we will see whatever the overview of whatever we discussed, or recap, we can say. So generally we know Bhagavatam is having 12 cantos and 18,000 verses. And mainly it is discussing about 10 subjects. Like Bhagavad Gita is having 5 subjects: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Bhagavatam is discussing about 10 subjects, starting from Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utaya, Manvantra, Uti, Ashraya, Nirukti, Mukti, like that. Different 10 topics are there. So if you see these 10 topics of Bhagavatam, we can see here, the 10 topics are described in Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 10th chapter, verse number 1. The 10 topics are: Sarga means how this creation came. This creation was made by Supreme Lord. Not like material science, we say that it has come by Big Bang or a theory of evolution. The Bhagavatam very clearly says this universe is created by the Supreme Lord, and how he created, that is actually discussed in Bhagavatam in the topic called Sarga. Second topic is actually Visarga, which is actually once the Lord has given the primary ingredients, then Lord Brahma is empowered by the Supreme Lord to make the creation, the secondary creation, means the living entities and all this, whatever we see in this material universe. Within this material universe, the 14 planetary system, everything is created by Lord Brahma. So the primary ingredients is given by the Lord, created by the Lord, and the secondary creation is by Brahma. So like we say, we make some, khichdi, the primary ingredients are there, dal, chili, all these things. These primary ingredients is given by the Lord. And then we use all the primary ingredients and make a boga. Like that, Lord Brahma, using the primary ingredients, he is creating this complete Brahmanda. And then Sthanam is the third topic, which is actually telling the position of living entities in the various planetary systems. So one thing we should understand, these topics does not come in the order in Bhagavatam. These are 10 topics. Sthanam is in the 5th canto, where the universes are, where various planetary systems are there. So it will not come in the sequence, but however, the topics are say 10 topics. Sthanam is place where we are residing, the living entities, different planetary system. Poshanam means like how Lord protected the devotees, like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, like that, Poshanam, the Lord's protection for the devotees, that is also been discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Uti means our inclination to act, perform, because everything is here action. So that Uti, inclination to act, is being described. Manvantara, how the Manus are reigning over the different periods in this material universe. Ishanu Katha means the topics of Lord's various incarnation and his devotees. So normally, because Bhagavatam mainly focuses on Lord's activities and his devotees' activities. So all this thing is called Ishanu Katha. Nirodha means finally this material creation as Sarga is created. After that, it has a time period, time scale like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Then it is getting annihilated. Everything will come zero. Then the Lord will create again. Again, Sarga, Visarga will start. That is annihilation. And Mukti discusses about liberation. So we are entangled into the cycle of birth and death. And the Lord gives a way how we can get liberated from the cycle of birth and death and get away from, go out of this Brahmanda and go back to the spiritual world. For that, we have to take the ashraya of the Supreme Lord. So that is the last topic, the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. So these are very, very important, very logical, very scientific. If you see with all common sense, these are things very, very important for our life. Apart from our material knowledge, the spiritual knowledge is actually giving us the protection of the Lord. We know the purpose of our life, the goal of human life, and how to achieve the goal. Everything is actually discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. All the aspects of this knowledge are important for human beings. Of course, these are not applicable for other species of life, but human beings only can understand about God. So this Bhagavatam is meant for all human beings and described in various degrees. So the ultimate purpose of first 9 topics, what is the ultimate purpose, is to help us to understand the 10th topic, that is Ashraya. That's why it is said Bhagavatam, we should always start from the first canto. You cannot directly go to the 9th canto or 10th canto. So the 9 topics, what is the purpose of these 9 topics? Is to finally come to the 10th topic called Ashraya Tattva. That means the summum bonum of this reading this Bhagavatam is you have to completely take full shelter of Krishna. That's why all these topics are given. So the first 9 topics deal with the Supreme Lord Krishna's various energies, expansions, majesty and greatness. So first 9 topics discusses about the greatness of Krishna. Whereas the 10th topic, now Krishna and the 10th canto, this all describes about the sweetness of Krishna. So the Lord is great as well as he is very sweet also. Without studying the first 9 topics, one might perceive the pastimes of Krishna in the 10th canto as ordinary. So it is like half and logic. If you just take out of context only, if you read certain things, you may not be able to appreciate what Krishna Leela is about. We may think that this is another mundane activity. So this Bhagavatam, it is said in 1.3.40, this Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of God, which is Grantha Avatar. So Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. It is there in 1.3.40 and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. And who is Vyasadeva is also an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because who can explain about God except God himself? So God's partial manifestation is empowered incarnation is Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. Uttama Sloka Charitam Chakra Bhagavatam Rishihi. So it is actually meant for ultimate good of all people and it is successful, all blissful and all perfect. These are the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And actually Bhagavatam, there are 2 kinds of Bhagavatas, book Bhagavatam, what we are reading now, and also person Bhagavatam. So book Bhagavatam is actually Grantha Avatar, literary incarnation of Krishna, whereas person Bhagavatam is a person who is living by the teachings of Bhagavatam. So Vyasadeva, we can say, and pure devotees of the Lord who are engaged in full devotional service, like we can say Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotees of all the pure Vaishnavas, they are all called as person Bhagavat. Person Bhagavatam is a self-released, bona fide spiritual master, and through him only we can understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to get the desired result. So this book Bhagavata can be understood through the acharyas only. We cannot do ourselves a self-study. Now, because of Prabhupada only, we are able to understand Bhagavatam. Otherwise, Bhagavatam, if you think Prabhupada did not explain Srimad Bhagavatam, is there any scope for us to understand what is in Bhagavatam? Definitely not possible. Even if you have the book of English translation, by our own endeavor, if Prabhupada's purpose are not there, definitely we do not understand the message of Bhagavatam. So, Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as worship of the Lord. Okay, so that's why in many temples, they keep Bhagavatam in the altar also. So we can keep Bhagavatam in the altar and we can worship because it is not different from the Lord. So these all things are there. Uh, Prabhupada writes that Srimad Bhagavatam instructs solely on this subject from the very beginning to the end. What does Srimad Bhagavatam teach us? Human life is meant for self-realization. We should understand, realize that we are Atma, we are not this body. That is the main purpose of Bhagavatam. The civilization which aims at this utmost perfection never indulges in creating unwanted things. And such a perfect civilization prepares men only to accept the bare necessities of life and to follow the principles of the best use of bad bargain. Prabhupada says that this human life should be main focus, goal should be only for our spiritual realization. Our material body and our lives in that connection are bad bargain. We taken this body, it is not good because we have a lot of suffering through the body. Because the living entity is actually spirit. We are Atma. And the spiritual advancement of living entity is absolutely necessary. Human life is intended for the realization of this important factor, and one should act accordingly, accepting only the bare necessities of life and depending more on God's gift, without diversion of human energy for any other purpose, such as being mad for material enjoyment. So we should not be mad for material enjoyment. The materialistic advancement of civilization is called the civilization of demons, which ultimately ends in wars and scarcity. So we see now we are developed very much advanced materially, and how much Prabhupada said is true. You see, yesterday the war started even in Lebanon also. Everywhere there is war. People are being killed. Almost 1 million people are displaced now because of the war. And this war started 2 years before, 1 year before. It is never stopping. Which the Prabhupada is, which ultimately ends. So what is the end of this advancement of material civilization? It will ultimately end in war. That is one. And scarcity means eventually there will be a lot of shortage in food supply, water, everything in future of Kali Yuga. These are the two ends of this modern civilization, war and scarcity. We are already seeing this all partly, even though we are in the beginning of Kali Yuga, now itself we are able to see. So spiritual life is very, very important. And how do we develop our spiritual life? By associating with devotees, reading Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam purpose is that. So we should understand what this Bhagavatam is. This purpose is actually for our spiritual progress, for our spiritual benefit. The ashray, we take shelter of Krishna. And we know that we are like every canto is representing limbs of Krishna. First two cantos represent the lotus feet of Krishna. And it is very clearly written in Bhagavatam how this Bhagavatam is actually having these first two cantos represent the lotus feet of Krishna. Third and fourth canto represents the thighs of Krishna. Fifth canto represents the navel of Krishna. Sixth represents the chest of Krishna. 7 and 8 represent arms of Krishna. Ninth is throat. 10th is lotus face, which is describing about the Sri Krishna Leela. 11th is forehead and 12th is head. So this is also Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna, and Bhagavatam is referring to Krishna's transcendental body, each cantos. So we now completed 6 cantos. Now we will just see only the recap of whatever we've seen from the 6 cantos. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes the supremacy of bhakti. So the importance of bhakti, because Bhagavatam is exclusively for Bhakta, Bhagavan, and Bhakti. 3 topics. Bhagavan, Bhakta, and Bhakti. So Bhakti supremacy is actually given in the first canto itself, and presents that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead through the conversation between Sutta Goswami and the Naimisaranya sages. There were 88,000 sages assembled in Naimisaranya. Now also Naimisaranya is there. The tree is also there where Sutta Goswami was assembled, and he discussed about that Bhagavatam. Chakratirtha is there. Sutta Goswami describes the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. So Bhagavatam begins with this. Describes the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj, who chastised even the Kali personified. Without starting with the first canto. When Parikshit was cursed by Shringi, the Brahmana boy, to die in 7 days, he heard the Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. This canto vividly describes the exclusive dependence of devotee on Krishna and Krishna's nature as Bhaktavatsala. So Parishit Maharaj, he did not just take revenge on Shringi, but rather he surrendered to the Supreme Lord and immediately went hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus slip of Sukadeva Goswami. So that we should understand. This is the first canto of this one. So you can see here, the canto 1 is actually divided into 19 chapters, where Vyasadeva is composing all the Vedic literature and he is not feeling happy in his heart. Some emptiness is there. So that time he is meditating, like why I am not happy even though I did lot of things for the humanity. That time his spiritual master, Narada Muni, appears and said that your emptiness is because you are not dedicated one complete literature glorifying the Lord and devotion and devotees. Exclusively you are not done. You have done only part here and there. So unless you don't do that, then you will not get that complete fulfillment in your heart. So then Vyasadeva compiles Srimad Bhagavatam exclusively for Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. There is no other topics in, nothing is more important than these three topics in Bhagavatam. That is described in the chapter 1 to 6. Then how Krishna was there in Hastinapur with Pandavas. Hastinapur and Pandavas. And he's interacting, and you see there are a lot of prayers by Kunti Maharani, prayers by Uttara, prayers by Bhishma Dev, and finally the Lord is actually departing from Hastinapur and he is going to Dwaraka, and the Dwarakavasis are very eager to receive the Lord, whereas the devotees in the Hastinapur, they are feeling separation from the Lord, and so the devotees here, they are feeling separation, and the people in Dwaraka, they are feeling union. So both are experiencing some kind of devotional ecstasy. So that is chapter 7 to 11. And then from chapter 12 to 15, we have birth of Parikshit Maharaj. How Parikshit Maharaj taken place? You know, Uttara was there, and this Aswathama, he with the Brahmastra, and Krishna saved the Uttara, glorifies Krishna with the prayer to Pahi Pahi, like Krishna to protect actually the womb, the embryo. Then Krishna goes into the embryo and protects. Then that's how the Parikshit Maharaj is having darshan of Krishna in the embryo itself. So that's why its name is called Parikshit, because after coming out, he's seeing that the personality which I saw in the womb, where is he? That Parikshit, he says, examining. So Parikshit Maharaj birth activities are given from chapter 12 to 15. And how Parikshit Maharaj is ruling the kingdom. And finally, he's encountering the Kali personified, because it's end of Dwapara Yuga, Kali is about to start. So Parikshit Maharaj is actually encountering the Kali Yuga, which is the Kali personified, is actually trying to cut the leg of bull. Okay, the bull represents Dharma. The four things, Dharma. Dharma stands on the four legs, we all know. The truth, austerity, mercy, and these four things are there. One is truth, then the second is austerity, third is mercy, and what is the fourth one? That is actually mercy is there, and cleanliness, saucham. So this what is this? Kali personified is at already 3 legs. The bull has lost, and Kali Yuga start with the truthfulness, and this Kali personified want to cut that leg also. So Parishit Maharaj said, "No, you cannot harm a bull, and I will not allow you, and I will kill you." So he takes a sword to kill the Kali personified. Our Kali personified takes the shelter of Parishit Maharaj. He is begging to forgive him. But he's telling, this is my age. I have to do my things in Kali Yuga. So please give me shelter. Then Parishit Maharaj says, no, I cannot. Because he's taken shelter, that the Dharma of Kshatriya, somebody will fall at his feet. You should not kill him. I heard even in Islam, it is said that if somebody will fall during fighting at the feet, you should not kill that person. So Parishit Maharaj gives shelter and he says, okay. And Kali asking, where can I go? Give me some place to reside. Then he's telling, Dyutam Panam Sriya Sunaha, Yatra Chaturvida Adharmaha. So these places where there is intoxication, gambling, meat eating, and illicit sex, there you can reside, not in other places. Kali personified says, in your kingdom, these things are very rare, but I want some more places. And he says, wherever there is excessive greed for gold, you can stay there. So Kali enters like that in these 5 places. And the second canto, Sukadeva Goswami describes the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga. Again, see, again, I said Bhagavatam is full of Bhakti Yoga, right? Bhakti Yoga is very important. Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, only by bhakti you can understand me. Only the Lord is becoming controlled by bhaktas. So without bhakti, we cannot understand. We can have partial realization of God as Brahman and Paramatma by Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. But if you want to understand the Lord as He is, Bhaktya Mama Vijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tatvatha. Without bhakti, you cannot please the Lord. While presenting various other processes on Vedic landscape, like Devata worship also there in second canto, the universal form, meditation on Virat Rupa, that is a universal form, and Paramatma also there as a part of Ashtanga Yoga also, Sukadeva Goswami is describing. He also describes the Chatusloki Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam Chatusloki, as we have three sloki in Bhagavad Gita, we have Chatusloki in Bhagavatam, that is in the second canto. And also that defines what are the 10 topics that will be described in Bhagavatam. So Chatusloki Bhagavatam, 10 topics of Bhagavatam is there. This canto established the supremacy of devotional service unto Krishna as a topmost spiritual path for the entire humanity. So this is actually second canto overview. I can see here, Bhagavatam second canto is having 10 chapters. Various yoga process are actually beginning in the second canto itself, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all those things are described by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. That is 3 chapters, 1, 2, 3. And then Sukadeva Goswami further describes about the universal form, Vishwarup, like how the different planetary systems are there, like the upper planetary system represents the head of the Lord, the middle planetary system in the middle of the Lord, and lower planetary system like Patala, and also how the different mountains came from the bones of the Lord, from the hairs of the Lord, and from the perspiration of the Lord, the oceans are generated. So like that, the universal form of the Lord is described in 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 chapters, universal form is described. Virat Rupa, Vishwarupa. Same we have Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, we have Vishwarupa Darshanam, which is exhibited to Arjuna. Here, that planetary systems are compared to the Virat Rupa of the Lord. And how the creation begins. That is also explained by Lord Brahma to Narada Muni. So, chapter 8 to 10, that is Sarga and Visarga is being explained. Actually, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining, but Sukadeva Goswami is telling that how Narada Muni asked this question to his father Brahma, and Brahma explained the process of creation from chapter 8 to 10. So, this is about Canto, 2 topics, so 10 chapters. And then we have the third and fourth canto. Sukadeva Goswami describes the creation of the universe because it is a continuation of the previous canto. So Sukadeva Goswami continues the creation of the universe done by the Lord, that is Sarga, and the sub-creation Visarga done by Brahma. And his sons, and about Brahma's sons. And the main thing is Varahadev pastimes are there. Varahadev, he killed Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu. Varahadev pastimes and teachings of Lord Kapila, the episode of Daksha and Lord Shiva's episode is there. Dhruva Maharaj, Anga, Vena, Prithu Maharaj, Prachinabari, and the Prachetas. So, a lot of things are discussed in third and fourth canto because 2 cantos are presented together, all as part of the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. Here, the discussion is between Maitreya Muni and Vidura because Vidura went for pilgrimage when the war happened. He was not happy. Duryodhana chastised Vidura that you are Dasi Putra. So Vidura got insulted and he leaves the kingdom and he goes for a pilgrimage. There he is meeting Maitreya Muni. So Maitreya Muni is actually overhearing the discussion between Krishna and Uddhava. The Uddhava Gita. So Maitreya Muni is able to hear that. So Vidura is asking question. Maitreya Muni is explaining to Vidura because he heard the conversation between Krishna and Uddhava. So that discussion is happening here. In that discussion, only all these pastimes are described by the discussion between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So the third canto elaborately describes how the Supreme Lord is the source and sustenance of the entire cosmos. Through the various prayers of the pure devotees, the fourth canto established the superiority of bhakti, again bhakti, superiority, over karma and jnana, and specifically the glory of the process of Shravanam. So the 9 process of bhakti yoga we know: Sharanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So here, mainly, the process of Sharanam is given important. Prabhupada also says Sharanam is the important because that's only the beginning of bhakti, Sharanam. You see, Sharanam only starts in the Navaveda, first one. And between the discussion between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, there are various discussions which is good for bhakti. So he is telling Varnashrama Dharma, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says no. He is telling about other processes. He says no. Then Ramananda quotes from Bhagavatam that you are staying in the same place wherever you are and just hearing about the Supreme Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is correct. Wherever you are, don't need to change your occupation or no need to change your residence. But every day hear about the Supreme Lord. If you sincerely hear about the Supreme Lord by Shravanam, then the Ajita, the Lord unconquerable, becomes conquered by your devotion. So Shravanam, regularly we keep on hearing, as much as Krishna Katha possible. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Then the Lord becomes, Ajita becomes Jita. He becomes conquered by the devotion. That's the process of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is a correct process. So very important. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3 topics, you can see. Beginning, there's a preview of Krishna Leela as a summary. Detail will be in 10th canto, of course. Then after that, Krishna Leela, how the Lord created the creation. Sarga is there and Visarga also there. Sarga and Visarga. Chapter 5 to 12, total 33 chapters are there. Then how Varaha avatar manifested and how he rescued the Bhuloka from the attack of Hiranyaksha. So the Lord is glorified as Varaha Murti. We have a lot of temples for Varaha Murti. And even in Tamil Nadu, we have a big temple, very big temple for Varaha. So the worship is done as, the Lord is worshipped as Varahadev. So that is 13 to 19. Then Kardama Muni and Devahuti, how they got married. Kardama Muni was doing tapas. And then, the Lord appeared and he told, you have to get married. So Devahuti will come, Manu's daughter will come. And they will offer the daughter, and Manu came there and offered his daughter. And how Kardama Muni practiced, had a grahastha life, and he then, how Kapila Muni is taken birth, and then Kardama Muni renounces his grahastha life and he becomes going for spiritual perfection. So then Kapila Muni is instructing his mother Devahuti about spiritual Krishna consciousness, how we can please the Lord. So he's giving various instructions. So Kapila Muni, the teachings of Lord Kapila, Prabhupada has written a very specific book where all, whatever the teachings were there, Prabhupada has given as a separate book, teachings of Lord Kapila. And this is a very instructive discussion between mother and son about spiritual progress. Okay, so that is there. And Canto 4 is actually the episode between Daksha Prajapati and Lord Shiva. So we know that Daksha Prajapati inserted Lord Shiva in the assembly, and the Lord Shiva's followers became very disturbed and they started attacking, and so much things went wrong in that yajna. And finally, so Daksha Prajapati's head was cut, and Lord Shiva forgave him. And finally, the remedy was Lord Brahma. But okay, we have to replace the head of Daksha because it was cut in the swan. So he got a goat head. So Mother Parvati also left her body, not happy with her father's activities and so on. So all these things are there in Daksha episode, chapter 1 to 7. Total, there are 31 chapters. First 7 chapters talks about the discussion between whatever happened between Lord Shiva and Daksha. Then Dhruva Maharaj pastimes, we know how Dhruva Maharaj went to his father and he was insulted by his stepmother, Ruchi, Surichi. Surichi is the mother of son, and Ruchi. Okay, so that
Uttama, mother of Uttama Prabhu, Uttama.
Uttama.
Suriji's son Uttama and Suniti's son.
Suniti and Surichi. Suniti is actually the mother of Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj.
And Surichi is actually the second step mother of King Uttanapad, right, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu. Step brother of.
No, father.
Father is yes.
Yes, Uttanapad. So that episode is there, and Dhruva Maharaj feels insulted, and then he goes to his mother. Mother advises to go and pray, seek blessings from Krishna. And Dhruva Maharaj goes to the forest. Narada Muni stops, tries to divert him, but Dhruva Maharaj is very determined. Then he gives that mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Narayana, Prabhu, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vas, that pranam mantra, that mantra is given, and Dhruva Maharaj within 6 months of severe austerities, he is able to get the darshan of the Lord, and Dhruva Maharaj prayers are there. Then again, Prithu Maharaj pastimes are there. How his father Vena, King Vena, right? he was not ruling properly, and he was actually cursed and killed by the Brahmanas. And then Prithu Maharaj takes birth, and then Prithu Maharaj rules the kingdom very nicely. And as per the, Prithu Maharaj is also considered as an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And then there are instructions how the Prachetas did the austerity. The Prachetas, the sons of King Prachinavari. So when they are doing austerity, they are being instructed by Lord Shiva, no, Prabhu? Prachetas are instructed by Lord Shiva.
Yes. Rudragidam.
Rudragidam. And following that, they do austerities below the water for, I think, 10,000 years or something. And then they get the darshan of the Lord after the tapas austerity. So that is Prachetas episode up to 24 and up to 31st. Then the fifth canto, Sukadeva Goswami describes about the King Priyavarta Maharaj, how he, this Bhumandala was, with that chariot, he made 7 concentric circles, and the geography of the universe is presented. The positioning, sthanam, positioning of various planetary systems, the majesty and the grandeur of Lord's creation is unfathomable, because when you read that, the trees, the oceans, and the different planets, the vastness of this universe, and everything is actually, we can see the greatness, we can understand the greatness of the Lord, and we can understand our insignificant position in this universe. It is recommended that one faithfully adhere to the scriptural teachings and pursue the spiritual path. So that Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, important is Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is also considered as an incarnation of the Lord, and Rishabhadev had 100 sons, and the elder son is actually Bharat Maharaj. So there are 26 chapters, and Bharat Maharaj and Rishabhadev is giving a lot of instructions that how, first instruction like 5.5, 5.1, Nayam Deho Deho Bhajam Nirloke, Kashtan Kaman Arisi Vidbujangi, Tapo Dipam Putra Karene Satyeta Sutti, Esmat Brahma Sutyam Tunantam. Saying spiritual life is very, very important, because the material enjoyment, even the dogs and hawks, they can enjoy. But spiritual life only human beings can do, because Tasma Brahma Sargam, you will get unlimited happiness by practicing spiritual life. And Bharat Maharaj practices spiritual life, and we know that Bharat Maharaj finally he renounces, goes to the forest, and when he's doing tapasya, he gets attracted to the deer. And as Krishna says, whatever you remember at the time of death, you will get. So Bharat Maharaj is remembering affectionate towards the deer and remembering death, and he takes birth as deer in the next birth. And he realizes his mistake, and next birth he becomes Jada Bharat, he perfects his life and goes back to God. And then the most important section about Jambudvip, how our universe is constitution, how it is designed. The Jambudvip is given 16 to 19, various varshas, various these things are given, and the geographical this one nature of our universe is actually presented in detail in Jambudvip. Not Jambudvip, the whole Bhumandala, in that specifically Jambudvip is given in more elaborate. And various planetary system, including this various hellish planetary system, and how the living entities are getting punished for various sins, to which hell they will go, and how what kind of punishment will be given. Everything is given in chapter number 20 to 26. With that, fifth canto completes, and this is actually the whole complete. You can see the family lineage of the various families which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Priyavarta, Uttanapada, Kuti, Prasuti, and all this there. Bhagavatam family tree is there. And then we go to the sixth canto. That is what we completed yesterday. The sixth canto describes how the Supreme Lord protects his devotees, Poshanam, through the wonderful examples of pastimes of Ajamil. Indra is protected by killing this Vritasura. Also Indra and also Hiranyakashipu is killed to protect Indra, demigods. Chitraketu Maharaj pastimes also we read. And Vritasura, even though he was an Asura, is actually pure devotee of the Lord. The Asuric family, but Asuric body, we can say, is a pure devotee of the Lord. Even if sometimes the devotees transgress the codes of Dharma, circumstantially, the Lord compassionately forgives and purifies them. Krishna says, 9th chapter, if somebody even do some mistake and, unintentionally, we should still consider it as a sadhu, saintly person, because very quickly I will purify, because they are connected to me, I will purify them very quickly. So this is what 6th canto, Bhagavatam, having total 19 chapters. So after hearing the description of hell, Parishit Maharaj becomes very disturbed. As a Vaishnava, he becomes very compassionate. He asks Sukadeva Goswami, what is the remedy for this? How a living entity can escape all this punishment? Out of compassion, he is asking that. And then immediately, Sukadeva Goswami starts narrating Ajamil pastimes, describing the glories of the holy name. So if anybody is taking the shelter of the holy name, they will be protected by the messengers of Vishnu, the Vishnu Dutas. And he describes how Ajamil was very sinful, but however, he kept his name, son's name as Narayana. And while in the deathbed, he was chanting his son's name. The Yamadutas came, the Vishnu Dutas came, and the Vishnu Dutas refused to send the Ajamil to Yamadutas for punishment, and he was protected. Later, Ajamil understood that his mistake and he started practicing spiritual life. He also goes back to home, back to Godhead. That is Ajamil pastimes, describing the glories of holy name and how a living entity can avoid suffering in the hellish planets by taking the shelter of holy name and shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, Daksha prayers we have seen here, how Daksha is actually taking birth for second time and he is getting so many sons, but he's been preached by Narada Muni. They all become renunciant. Then Daksha get, I know how many, I don't know, remember 66 daughters, Prabhu, 60 or 66, I don't remember.
64, no,
64.
bro.
64 daughters,
64.
yes. And yeah, so and the daughters who are their family members, their lineage is given very detailed, who taken birth to which daughter like that. And then the pastime of Vritasura is there, how Vritasura and Indra, they were fighting. And finally, the Vritasura got killed by Indra's thunderbolt. And then Vritasura is glorified as a devotee. And normally the demand, everybody is happy when they are killed. But here, when Vritasura is killed, everybody is lamenting. And then Parishit Maharaj asked why Vritasura, how he became a devotee. Then the Chitraketu Maharaj pastimes is presented how Chitraketu Maharaj had so many wives but no progeny, and then he got a son, but he was killed by the envious wives, and then he becomes depressed. Then Narada Muni gives spiritual instruction to him. Then he becomes again, back to spiritual life. And then one time he mocks Lord Shiva because Mother Parvati seated on his, on his thigh. Then Mother Parvati curses him. So like that, how then he becomes a demon, Vritasura. So he's a very elevated devotee. And it was will of the Lord and curse, he becomes like this. So this Chitraketu Maharaj pastimes are there given. And now tomorrow we will start 7th canto. The 7th canto describes the pastimes of Lord Narasimhadev, very important pastime. How he protected his devotee. Kaunteya Prijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So Krishna says, my boldly proclaim Arjuna to the whole world that my devotee will never perish. So Narasimha avatar is mainly for protecting the devotees. So we also sing every day Narasimha Kavacha, Narasimha Arati, Bhajan for protection from the material dangers. So, and his unalloyed devotee Prahlad Maharaj. This canto also describes the various features of Varnashrama Dharma. So, Chaturvarna Maya system, that various features is described in this canto. While pure devotees like Prahlad have full faith about the all-pervading nature of the Supreme Personality of the Lord, atheists like Hiranyakashipu arrogantly disbelieve even the existence of God. This 7th canto, we can see. So, Hiranyakashipu, beginning 7th canto itself, this Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu pastime begins. There's total 15 chapters. Previous we are 19. This is 15 chapters. We can say lesser than previous canto. And Hiranyakashipu is explained how he did tapasya for Lord Brahma and how he got the boon. That is first 4 chapters. Then how his saintly son Prahlad Maharaj, how he instructed his schoolmates, and Prahlad Maharaj prayers are there. Prahlad Maharaj teachings are there. All these are explained in 5, 6, 7, 3 chapters. And then how when Hiranyakashipu tried to kill his own son, Prahlad Maharaj, because he is becoming a devotee, how Narasimhadev appeared from the pillar and protected his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. That is explained, and all these prayers and teachings are explained from the chapters 8, 9, 10. And last is actually about explaining about the Varnashrama features of various characteristics of this. You can see here, Varnashrama Dharma. Various features of Varnashrama is explained 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And 5 chapters is being explained. So that actually we will continue tomorrow onwards from 7th canto. So whatever I had understood little bit, it's not complete, but just as a quick recap of whatever we studied so far in this Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So there, but devotees, we can feel free to add any points or any further things which we understood from Srimad Bhagavatam that we can discuss now? Any questions or any?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Initially, we will ask for questions, Prabhu. Devotees.
Sure.
It's a good opportunity for the revision. It's a wonderful revision, Prabhu, with colorful photos and it's very easy to understand description.
Yes.
So, doubts, if any?
Yeah. One quote I will share from Prabhupada.
Yes.
If you study, Prabhupada giving very nice quote here, all your education is complete. If you study Srimad Bhagavatam perfectly, then all your education is complete. You don't require any other book to read. You get from Srimad Bhagavatam all material.
Yes, Prabhu.
But at the end, Krishna.
That is detail study. Even Bhagavad Gita itself is sufficient. But if you have a Srimad Bhagavatam, it is
Yes.
It is too much. Of course, because it is specially given for Kali Yuga. So everyone must understand all the topics at least once.
So, Prabhu, can you please share that this one, Prabhu? Srila Prabhu was just want to take a screenshot.
Yeah. Yes.
2.3.22, Prabhu.
This is actually lecture, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada lecture on 2.3.22 at Los Angeles, June 19, 1970.
Okay, class. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji?
No, it's not came, Prabhu.
I will share in the group.
Okay. Especially this. Otherwise, I have taken this one.
No, brother. Mataji, it is simple. If you understand Srimad Bhagavatam, your education is complete. That's all.
I will share the quote.
There's something
exact words. That like if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, there's no other education required. That is
I shared Mataji already. It is in the group.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's very difficult. Sometimes we will forget the exact wording. That's why.
Yeah. So now devotees have time to discuss about whatever we discussed so far. Hare Krishna.
Especially fifth Canto, the geography, Vedic cosmology, that used to be understood in detail.
Yes.
Because it is not an easy subject.
Yes.
So
I thank Prabhu. We have taken too much time.
Yes. Oh my God. I was not able to complete one sloga in a day, Prabhu, when we were taking that. Because actually we all must thank our Yatra and Pavaneshwara Prabhu for explaining it in detail. It is there in our YouTube channel, Vedic Cosmology. Pavaneshwara Prabhu from Pune, who is an Indian Institute of Science gold medalist.
Yes.
Because even we read the word even Bharatavarsha, Bharata Bhumi, Bharata Khanda, most of us are using it even still wrongly. Even Prabhupada is addressing our subcontinent as Bharatavarsha at many places. But in an elaborate sense, our subcontinent is not Bharatavarsha. We can say it a Bharata Bhumi. Prabhupada is called Bharatavarsha, so we also will call this also Bharatavarsha. But actual Bharatavarsha is the biggest, the very big one.
Yeah. Prabhupada said that in Kali Yuga, like in the beginning, slowly, it becomes like divided and to various.
Yes, that is the Prabhu. But that geography, landmass are still there, no? Like Jambudvipa is still existing.
Yes.
Jambudvipa divided into 9 tracts of land. In that southernmost one is Bharata Varsha. That again divided into 7 tracts, 7 pieces. In that southernmost, smallest one is our Earth globe.
Yes.
Bharata Khanda.
Yes.
So what I want to say is that taking birth in subcontinent is not a must. Taking birth in any part of Bharata Khanda is very auspicious in Kali Yuga. So that is becoming true now. Like in Africans, Australians, even from any part of Bharata Khanda, they are getting the opportunity for bhakti.
Correct. That is true.
And the island surrounding, the sea surrounding Jambudvipa, salt water. Then the next deep, next sea, and up to the walls of the universe, all around the 7 layers. So very beautiful.
Yes,
And Prabhuji, that wonderful part of Prabhuji's lecture was that we find many shining bodies in the sky at night. Modern scientists say they give so many names of stars and all.
Yes.
But Prabhu is saying that whatever is the spirit, the bodies are Navagrahas, Surya, Chandra, Dhruva, Nakshatra, and other
Yes.
Saptarshi, Shishimara. Then the rest all shining bodies are either palaces or vehicles.
Yes. Correct, Prabhu.
So that is Sthanam planetary position. That section is very interesting.
Yeah, correct. Yes. It's interesting. The whole planetary system is very amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. And, you see that one version with the
Yes. Various types
milk
of
and
liquids.
so and also the trees, they very tall trees, the
And
mango
Prabhuji,
juice
and yes. And we were thinking that I was thinking that by reading the purports of foolish people with poor fund of knowledge, thinking that the 7 islands means our 7 continents, and saltwater ocean means the ocean which is around us.
Yeah. Even I was thinking like that.
So we should learn from the right source.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will become foolish. So I spoke a lot. Devotees, please questions, please clear if any. Otherwise, if no questions, we'll invite a comment from devotees. Shivan Prabhu always used to say in his class, 3 things will be eradicated. Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone remember? If you are out of these 3 things, your life is peaceful.
What
Shogam,
is it, Prabhu?
Moham,
I
Bhayam.
did not hear properly.
Shogam, you always say Shogam, Moham, Bhayam.
Yes.
This
Krishna Parama Purushe. One sloka is there, no, Prabhu? Krishna Parama Purushe.
Yes.
Krishna Parama Purushe.
So,
Bhakti Utpate Pumsam Shoka Moka Vaya Apaha. Yes.
And somebody interested can compile the prayers, various prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. Some activities we can do.
Yes.
And be systematic. Sound knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then Srimad Bhagavatam, and Charitamrita. And
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada says, read scrutinizingly, ask questions, analyze. So, all glory to Srila Prabhupada and his sincere followers. And no questions means comments are welcome.
Yeah. Anybody want to add any points?
And Prabhuji, this program had made Bhagavatam preachers also, or Sarvadita Mataji, Haresiti Keshav Mataji, they all were
Yes. Correct.
new preachers of Bhagavatam. It's very good.
Yes. Before we were having the class.
Saturdays, yes.
Yes.
So now next Prabhu class onwards, next Friday onwards, if we start at 9 o'clock, we'll have some slip nets, no?
Yeah. Already I given the book also
Prabhuji, I suggest if you introduce today's what you given, no? Canto wise.
Yeah.
This as a starter, this will be best, Prabhu.
Yes.
Because 10 topics, and how Srimad Bhagavatam appeared, what was the need of Srimad Bhagavatam, and like Bhagavad Gita, we say 5 topics. These are 10 topics. How they are distributed. So,
yes.
Like that beginning, that will be better, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji. That will be actually beneficial for everybody.
And Prabhuji, I suggest rather than topic wise, systematic is better. Even if in the abridged version, no? Even in the smaller version, Canto 1, Canto 2, like that.
The thing is, I will not be there. I don't know, somebody will be willing to take. You have to check that one.
Yes.
So now I check, like given Bhavat Prava book to my wife. She will bring that one.
Yes.
So
So,
then
something, yes.
Now in between